Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I don't know if you guys have realized, but we have just reached 2,000 subscribers and it is insane. I was not expecting this at all. I know I keep on saying this every video, but really the love and support that I'm getting from all these videos is just really touching, especially at this time that we're mostly at home. We don't really see our friends a lot and it's quite lonely, to be honest. So, for everyone to watch the videos and, to subscribe and like and comment and share, it's really, for me, it's such a comfort. And I really thank you all for doing this. So today's topic is we're going to be making a cuff bracelet. So a little backstory on this piece is it's quite funny actually. So yesterday I just sat on my bench and took out all my stones from my drawers and just stared at them. And I was like, what am I going to make today? I think it's like that for all of us. For most of us, we're like, okay, I have these beautiful stones, but I don't know where to start. And so, yeah, I stared at all my, I was just picking one and then, putting it aside. And I was like, I really don't know what to do. So do I make a ring? Do I make a pendant? Do I make this or that? I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a break and have my lunch. Oh, wait, it was already around 6 at that time. So it was like my brunch-er. It was like, yeah, because I didn't really eat in the morning and afternoon. So I had just one meal yesterday. While I was eating, I started watching Boruto. Now, if you guys don't know what Boruto is, it is a Japanese anime, which is like the sequel to Naruto. Now, I'm not going to go over the anime and the story and whatever, because that's what this channel is about. But mainly there's an emblem of the Leaf Village, which I'm gonna show right here. And it has that spiral thing in the middle. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, I can use that. So Boruto inspired me, yay. So I was like, I can't wait for this episode to finish, so I can start working. And then when it ended, of course, I jumped out of my bed and started working on this piece. Oh, sorry. Actually, it was this piece. And then I remember that there was this tutorial by Yvonne Williams on a herringbone bracelet. And I was like, oh, wait. That's like perfect. It's exactly what I was thinking about when I was watching Boruto, right? And also, if you guys want to watch that video, I'm going to link the video down below at the description box for that tutorial. And this is what it looks like. So this is the frame that we're going to be doing for this piece. So I was like, I just started working. And then this is what I've come up with. And then I asked a few people over my Instagram page, do you guys want a tutorial on this? And they're like, yeah, yay, yes, please. So I filmed a video today and created this one. So this is what we're going to be making today. It's not exactly the same thing, but actually what happened was, because I figured out how to make it, I was like, I'm not going to spend another 3 hours weaving. Definitely not. And this is what I've come up with. So anyway, that's the introduction for the day. If you guys want to learn how I made these beautiful cuff bracelets, which I'm going to actually wear now, then just keep watching. So the first thing that we are going to need is 34 centimeters of 12 gauge dead soft round wire. Next, we are going to mark the midpoint of this wire, which is at 17 centimeters. Place the midpoint of the wire in between your round nose pliers and start bending the wires slowly into one direction like a spiral. Do this until you've reached the desired size. Now take your flat nose pliers and straighten the wires to create the basic shape of the cuff. Now take your bench block and hammer and start flattening the whole piece. Because this is a thick wire, it will take a while to hammer it flat. Now, when you do this, make sure that you do it in sections. Straighten the wire in between each section to make sure it doesn't bend out of place. Next, cut two pieces of 15 centimeters of 18 gauge half hard, half round wire. Wrap these wires on each side of the spiral, but also remember to make sure that they're going towards the same direction. So if it's going clockwise, both of them should be going clockwise. And of course, if it's counterclockwise, then both of them should be going counterclockwise. Now on this tutorial, I am using a 30 by 25 millimeter cabochon, but of course you can use a bigger one or a smaller one depending on your preference. And if you are going to use a smaller stone or a bigger stone, you have to adjust the spirals that you've made so far. It could be either, of course, smaller or bigger. Now, what I'm doing here is basically I am wrapping the wires around the stone. And by doing this, I am trapping the stone so that when I actually wrap it with a design, it's going to be a little bit more stable. And as you can see, with this wrap, basically I'm making sure that it's like in the same direction. So I'm going counterclockwise on both ends. And at the same time, I'm making sure that it's like on top of each other. Like regardless of which side I'm on, it's gonna look virtually the same. So this is very important when you're starting this project, because you have to make sure that your stone is secure before you even start doing any design. And now we are ready to create our design. We're going to use 10 inches of 16 gauge half hard round, but of course if you don't have half hard, you can also use dead soft if you want. Anyway, it's a very thick wire, so you know it's not as soft as like a thinner dead soft. So basically what I'm doing here now is wrapping the wire on one arm of the cuff and tracing it along the sides of the stone. Now this is going to create extra stability on the piece, and also as you can see, I am putting it like over and under, not like on the same exact side of the piece. Now, the next thing I'm going to be doing is hammer this. Now, you're going to see a lot of hammering for this project, because that's what creates that texture or that design. It looks like it's cursive. So when you hammer your pieces or your wire, make sure that you hammer it from the back. Because if you hammer it from the front, chances are you're going to see some markings on the front. So the best thing to do is to do it at the back so that the front is smooth. And now at this point of the tutorial, it's actually really anything goes, because it's such an organic design. You can really do anything. I chose not to do it too much for this design because I wanted, like I said earlier, I wanted it to be very elegant and chic. But yeah, you can follow this whole tutorial to the T if you want. I don't really mind, but feel free to be, creative about it. I'm just showing you guys how I made this piece. I don't really need to explain it by words so much because you can see exactly what I'm doing. But yeah, it's a lot of wrapping and hammering, and then just placing the design on the piece. Now, another thing you need to remember is that before you hammer any piece or any wire, that is, to make sure that you've created the shape first. And this is why it's important to use a half round wire whenever you are hammering, because half hard wire is a little bit more stable than dead soft. If you're going to do this particular design with the dead soft, it's going to be more difficult for you to keep the shape that you want. But of course, with practice, you can adjust the way you handle the wire and so on. But for me, I think when it comes to hammering, it's best to use half hard wire. By the way, I'm so sorry if I'm stuttering a lot when it comes to these voiceovers, because I get really distracted while watching the video while I'm recording the audio. But in any case, I'm really doing my best, and I'm actually trying not to look at it, but I have to because I have to see what I'm actually doing, right? And also, English is not my native language. As you guys probably know by now, I am actually Filipino, full Filipino. I've never been to the States, although I did study in an Americanized school back in the day. And that said, we are now going to take 18 gauge half hard round as our last wrapping wire. So basically, we're going to do the same exact thing that we did earlier, but this time we are going to start on the other side of the cuff, so the other arm, so that there's a little bit of a balance that's going on in the piece. But basically, it's the exact same thing that we did earlier. Well, not really exact. I mean, what I'm saying is the exact direction that we're going for. And but of course, design-wise, it's gonna look a little bit different from what I did earlier with the 16 gauge. Whenever I do things like this, I mix up the gauges a lot because in nature, not all vines, for example, are of the same diameter or the same width. And for something to look organic, you have to make sure that they're not the exact same size. now I'm actually done wrapping the stone. At this point, you can actually add more if you want. You can, like add a curly Q somewhere there or even a bead. But for me, that's more than enough. The next thing what we're going to be doing is to texturize the arm of the cuff. And we're using the other side of the chasing hammer right here. And as you can see, one side is texturized, and when you use a texturizer, or one of that side, make sure that you flip the piece over and then hammer that side to flatten it. And also another trick that I found is that when you do something like this, to actually hammer the wire sideways, if that makes sense. As you can see here, because I hammered it sideways, it's a little bit more straight. So the next thing that we're doing is we're going to cut the arms of the cuff. Now this will depend on the size that you want it to be, or what size are the wrists of the persons or yourself who's going to be using it. But in this case, I'm going to start off with 4 inches from the midpoint, or relatively the midpoint of the whole piece, which is, so it's going to be like 8 inches. But later on, I'm actually going to cut it like an inch shorter, so it's going to be 3.5 inches on each side. So it's going to be 7 in total. But before that, before I do cut it in that way, I'm going to be using a mandrel to bend the wire around. I am currently using a ring clamp to do this, but of course there are other things that you can use. It could be a bottle, it could be a pen, it could be anything really that's a bit rounded. But if you have the budget to buy one, you can also get these, I think they're called Bracelet bending pliers, and you can get them from Amazon, or I'm not sure exactly where, but I did find it on Amazon just recently. I think it's about $50. It's a bit expensive if you come to think of it, but if you think that you're going to have a lot of clients who want cuff bracelets, then it is a good investment. For me, I'm not sure yet. I don't know if I'm gonna, if I'm gonna invest on that. Maybe at some point, but right now, it's not gonna be in my budget list. It's gonna be in my list, but not in my budget list, if you know what I mean. So now, like I said earlier, I am cutting another 1/2 inch on each side, or on each arm of the cuff, so that there would be an opening. So the final thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to file off the ends of the wire. And this is very crucial because the ends of the wire are very sharp, and you need to make sure that, when you slip your wrists, when you slip it on your wrist, it's not going to scratch you, or it's not going to scratch the person who's going to wear it. And with that said, I am using 3 bits for the Dremel. The first one is a diamond file, and that's gonna kind of like carve out like a chunk of what we need to remove. And then the next one is a sanding disc, and this is like a fine grit, but not so fine grit. And this is also going to file out, some of the ends. And it's going to make your pieces shine a little bit more. So make sure that you always check if there are any gritty parts. Just continue on filing. And finally, the last bit that we're using, and the last step, is we're going to use this steel brush, and this is gonna buff out all of the nicks, and it's going to make sure that your piece is really, really shiny. So there you have it, guys. This is our project for the day, and it is beautiful. Like I really like this design, and I'm really excited to make other cuff bracelets with this frame. Probably I'm gonna do some weaves next time, or I don't know, something really cool. But yeah, this is what I've come up with so far, and I hope that you guys can also use this tutorial in the future or even now. So if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up, give it a comment, subscribe to this channel, share this video, or just say hello to me over Instagram or Facebook. My links are down below at the description box. I also have a Patreon page, which is linked down below. You can also purchase the pieces that I have. I don't have an Etsy shop or an online shop yet, but I do update frequently my Instagram whenever I create something. So you guys can check that out. And then if you guys want anything, or if you want me to create something for you, like commission work, I could also do that for you. Just send me a DM over Facebook or Instagram. So that's about it, guys. Thank you so much for watching again, and hope to see you again soon. I already have an idea of what I'm gonna make for next week. And please do tag me when you use any of the tutorials that I've made here, so that I can see your works and also repost them on my Instagram or my Facebook as well. And you never know, I might actually feature you as my artist of the day for the videos. So yeah, that would be great. Thank you guys, and have a nice day. Happy wrapping. Bye. So our artist of the day is Briana Reeves, and she runs Fractal Moon Creations. Now she has used a lot of the tutorials that I have here in the channel, and it's really working out for her. So if you guys have time, which I hope you do, please do check out her links, which are down below at the description box.